So I'm back at Dangerous Studios today to figure out how to do editing. So we've got the composition handled, we've got the lighting handled, we've got the audio handled, and it's now about getting things like intros, outros, adding logos, branding, and possibly even some sound. So looking forward to learning all about that today. Okay, amazing. So today we're going to talk about editing.
Wow.
So so this is what I want to do. Right. So I've seen these videos. They've got an intro. You've got branding. You got a spinning logo. I want a spinning logo. I want like an overlay, like during the video, like text to pop up, and at the end I want a call to action, like a nice punchy button. So that's what I want. How do we get that done? What does that process look like?
So if you think about editing, it's about sequencing the shots and all that information together.
Okay.
And then it's about layering that up. So there's a learning process involved in how you do that.
Okay.
A lot of people,
I can do it on my phone, right?
No, a lot of people say that to me, can I do it on my phone? And when you look at it, if you know what you're doing, and I've been doing this a long time, I can do it on a phone, on an iPad, but I describe it as kind of editing with boxing gloves on. You're starting in a position where it's not that intuitive a platform to do it on.
Right.
So,
But surely there's just like an app that I can just download and it'll just press a button and it'll do it for me.
if you've planned for it and prepared for it and spent time learning how to do it, yes. I think from what you want to do, you don't want to become an editor or as a job. You want to be able to put it together so it works, and you've got the elements you need. You've got a spinning logo, you've got text on it, you've got some idents, you've got music, you've got a call to action at the end. You want to again take away all the points of failure that you can,
okay.
and doing that on a phone is possible, but it might take you 10 times longer. What's the point? That's a waste of time when you could do it on a laptop, relatively easily.
So what I'm hearing from you is adding an intro, animation, and images is not that easy. Because I'm like, sure, it's easy, right? You just shoot, you press a button on the phone, it just does it.
It's more complex than just filming it in essence, because you then have to think, so where does that animation of the logo come from? Do I pay a video company to make that for me? Do I do it myself? Do I go find an app that does it? Some of them do, some of them don't.
But get it on Fiverr or something, right?
You can, but if you want it for your brand and to, tell your story in terms of the animation of the logo, you really need that done properly. And Fiverr's all right, but it's Fiverr. What you really want is to start building almost a brand toolkit of elements you'll use within the editing software, so that there's consistency and continuity on all the videos you make. So you don't change the font every time, you don't change the color scheme, you stick to your brand palette, you stick to your fonts, you stick to your tone of voice, you stick to your call to action style. All that should be the same across all of your editing, because you want it to feel like a cohesive suite of videos. If you start to do different things and it starts to kind of lose continuity.
And you said something there that just kind of sparked something for me, is that even if I get the animation or logo thing done on Fiverr, and even if I edit on my phone, I've still somehow got to get the Fiverr thing onto my phone, if that's where I'm going to edit it. So I can imagine some of the elements I've spoken about, I still need to get them all onto my phone.
So there's file management's quite a large part of preparing to edit. If you look at here, the first thing we talk about is importing footage.
Oh, so you mean this is actually work?
Yeah. This is it.
Okay.
It's not as simple a process as just kind of chuck all the bits on your phone and do it. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't advise it, because you want to concentrate on the content and getting the message across and making a polished video. You don't want to concentrate on learning how to use that. So what we come back to again is reducing points of failure. We say, right, you use a bit of software that's on your laptop. You already know how to get things from A to B on your laptop, just a file. You already know how to do certain things like maybe PowerPoint on your laptop. So you could start to put together, say, your branding screen in PowerPoint, export it as a JPEG, bring that into the editing package. It means you don't have to learn how to do the graphics in the editing package, because you already know how to do them in PowerPoint. So it's just about using what you know already to kind of bring it all together. And with something like an editing package on a computer, you already know how things work. Gotcha. Because there's a user interface language that everybody uses on desktops, which doesn't work quite the same on phones.
Yeah, I mean, as we're talking through this, I'm starting to realize that there's, just like file management, like iOS and even the Google Pixel phone that I've got doesn't have a good file manager like Windows Explorer or something like that. I can just imagine trying to find all the images. It's hard enough on a, in PowerPoint, it's like file insert, no problem, there it is. But I'm thinking about how that could work on my phone, and my brain is starting to hurt.
It doesn't work easily. I mean, I've done it. I've been away, and it was a trade mission, and we filmed lots of people on phones because that's all we had. We weren't planning to make videos. We should have. However, we decided to take lots of interviews on phones and put them together in a bit of branding and things like that. So I was sitting on an iPad on a train in China with no external resources available, and we had like things like key fobs that could like kind of move it between the phone to somewhere else to copy onto something else and get it onto the iPad. Wow. But most of the time just moving it all about, and it was kind of even getting the logos in. I would get a logo emailed to me but it was the wrong format, and the editing software on the iPad couldn't read it, and it was a job that should have taken a couple of hours on a laptop ended up taking all day on an iPad.
Okay, so I think we're coming back to this equipment thing about using the right tool for the right job.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that, I can shoot pretty good video on a mobile phone, upload it, and maybe top and tail it, like do basic editing. But the moment I want to start adding additional elements in, that's where the whole phone scenario starts to break down, and I need to actually consider that I want to rather bring that video onto something like a desktop, onto a computer, and do the editing there.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to need to learn some software. You'll give me some tips around that.
Yeah. It's about software and workflows. So it's once you've chosen the software environment you want to work within, and we can help you decide which one you want to use. It's then about how you bring in that information, store it, and then archive it and output your data where it goes, and there's a kind of process you need to follow, and it's a bit dull, that part of it, but it needs to be done right, otherwise you end up in a mess. Good. Then once you know that side of it, you can get on with the creative side of it, which is, I want to put a logo here, and I want this kind of text here, and I want to say this, and I want to cut at that point and add in a picture of this or a photo. All that sort of stuff you're going to have to do on a laptop.
Got you. So in terms of the editing process, it seems like if I want to just have a video that's a couple of minutes long, 2 minutes long, just have something to say, like a how-to or something like that, I can shoot it on my phone, I can publish it from there, no problem. But the moment I want to start adding any like intros or outros or additional images, at this point I need to get a laptop involved, and that really is the easiest way.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say the phone is okay for, trimming the footage, so taking out the bits you don't need, putting it together. If you've got pre-prepared, JPEG that you want to put on it that's already made somewhere else, and you've got it on your phone, you can maybe drop that in. Gotcha. But if you want music with it and you want to add text and all that sort of stuff, you're going to have to move up to a laptop or a desktop. Okay, fantastic. So for right now, I just want to focus on keep my life simple. Like just focus on getting it right on the phone, getting the messaging correct. Yeah. And let's do a separate session on actually getting learning the editing suite, and actually looking at the file management and the workflows and those sorts of things that we need to bring those additional elements on. Yeah, I mean that's really it. When we've showed you what you do with the phone in terms of gathering assets, that's really for the point where the phone kind of ends. Gotcha. You then need to move it into a sort of different level and say, right, this is where I'm going to do it with, like I say, bring in music, bring in photos, bring in this, bring in that. That's all much, much simpler to manage on a computer, and it gives you more time to worry about the content rather than how you're doing it. Got you. So I'm seeing that there might be, if I'm going to just shoot a quick video like a grant or something like that, I can do it on my phone and send it out. Mm-hmm. But if I want to give it that really professional finish, the logos, these types of things, it really comes back down to that planning and understanding what I want the output to be, and then getting the right equipment involved, and actually allowing enough time to create something that I'm going to put out there. That's it. I mean, we find when we run the workshops, people are happy with shooting things. We talk about framing, we talk about light, we talk about sound. It's when it comes to the editing point, they start to think, there's more to this than I kind of thought. So what we try and do is help, and we say, right, okay, we'll do you a brand package, which is an animated graphic, bits and bobs, that kind of thing, and music that's on brand. And that's the kind of package you can take away, and it gives you a start that you don't need to worry about these things because they're pre-made. But again, you still want to take away those points of failure, which is, do I try and get that on an iPad, or is it just, keep things simple.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm starting to feel the same way. I think that'd be a good thing to say, like, okay, Brendan, set me up. Get the templates, get get the basic environment set up for me, so that I can just shoot the video, do it properly, insert it, and then I've got those elements on.
And it's all on brand. It's the continuity is the same. So.
Fantastic. Well, I'm definitely feeling like, that'll be a good use of my time and money, because just getting that done, once is going to take my video to another level.
That's it. I mean, the whole point of this is you want to be looking a professional that can do your own video to a point, obviously. Yeah. And it's the key to this is, it'll make you look better than your competitors, or it'll make you more noticeable or more engaging to your customers or your prospective customers. That's really why you're doing this. You don't want to spend 3 days editing it, because you could spend that time out doing sales or dealing with your clients and things like that. So it's about shortening that time to say, this is how you get to this point, the simplest way you can, and the cheapest way.
Fantastic. So it seems like, in my journey so far, it seems like there's some things that are quite easy wins, light sources, framing, sound, that kind of stuff. It's quite an easy win that immediately you can level up. But some of those wins take a little bit more work, and it seems like editing and getting those additional graphic elements in, that's a little bit of a steeper mountain to climb.
It is, and it's the one that makes a difference.
Fantastic. So that's where we go from a gifted amateur to pro.
So we'll. I think what we'll do is we'll sit you down and we'll take you through some editing software and show you the processes and the workflows of how to do it.
All right, fantastic. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Brendan.
All right.
Right, so just finished up with editing. So I've had two distinct parts of my journey. One is sitting with Brendan and understanding, given what I want to achieve with video, what's it going to take? And what I discovered is that there's two parts to this journey. It's almost like climbing Everest. There's like the base camp, which was quite easy to get to, and then there's like some more serious climbing ahead. So there's some easy wins to get with things like the composition, the audio, the lighting, those kind of things that really could just shoot on a phone and do it once, do it done, and actually get quite good quite quickly with very little effort. But adding additional things like logos and those sorts of things, trying to do it just on the phone, suddenly became exponentially more complicated. There just isn't a good answer for getting that done on the phone. So we need to get some software involved. So this is Adobe Premiere Elements, which is the software that Brendan recommended. So I've been sitting with Brendan, I've been sitting with Andrew, and he's been talking me through how to actually add some of those elements I was looking at. So we're looking at an intro, a title, the content, and then a closing animation, and then also adding some audio. And what we found is that once I wrap my head around the workflow and the need to get the images and the video off the phone into the editing environment on the PC, it actually went quite quickly. So it was a bit of a learning curve getting the software to work and get it to do what I wanted to do. But once I embraced that, I actually was able to get quite a lot done with not too much additional expenditure of energy. So a little bit of a learning curve, but I've got a nice template set up over here. We've got the intro, we've got a title video, we've got an outro, and even managed to add some music, which is quite banging. So I'm quite excited to see how that's going to impact future videos. I'm really excited about the stuff that I can create in the future and feeling quite empowered to be able to go and create some kick-ass videos. So watch the space.